This is Barry from Imagination to Reality CNC, and in this video we're going to talk about what to do or what to look at if your i2R CNC machine is not moving. Some of these may appear very obvious, but trust me, it does happen to the best of us where we forget to check certain things, or we've moved the machine last month and this is the first time to use it and we haven't reconnected some of the connectors. And if everything's not set up correctly, or there's been a change to your PC or how the setup is configured, it may result in my machine is not moving. So the first thing we need to look at if the machine is not moving, and it may sound silly, but is your machine actually powered on, or is the control box getting full power? And do note at the front of your i2R CNC, there's two things that control the power to the control box. A very obvious on and off switch that when turned on should be illuminated green. But the second thing we need to look at and ensure is that the e-stop is not activated. When the e-stop is activated on the i2R CNC machine, you can note that the power stays illuminated. The advantage of this is it shows us that the box does actually have power, but then when the e-stop is activated, it has cut that power off to all the working components of the control box. I guess one telltale, if you do get yourself into this situation, is that the green light is illuminated, but we can see that the VFD has nothing on its display. And immediately this indicates to me that there's no power to the components inside the box. If there's any uncertainty if the e-stop is activated, simply twist it in the direction shown by the arrows and it should pop out. Now we can see that the VFD has illuminated, which would indicate to me now we do have power to the box. The second thing we need to determine after we've ensured we've got power to the CNC controller is that has the Ethernet cable been connected? There should be a clear light illuminated on the bottom left-hand corner of the Ethernet cable, which shows that not only is the cable connected, but a connection has been established. It's always worth checking the other end of the Ethernet cable, which connects to the back of your PC or laptop. The third thing we can look at after we've established we definitely have power, the Ethernet cable is connected, have we actually established connection to the UCCNC software? Now this can be sometimes overlooked by some of our customers and users because the software can start up if it's not connected or not powered. And it runs in what's known as a demonstration mode. And in the demonstration mode, the CNC machine will not move and you have not established that connection between the UCCNC software and the control box. To determine that we're not running in a demo mode, there is a few simple things we can check. On the top left-hand corner of the screen set when it's opened, it should read UCCNC software. And it should not read UCCNC software running in demo mode. If it is running in a demo mode, you have not established that connection between the UCCNC software and the machine, and you should close down the software and try and re-establish that connection. Another thing we need to look at if we're not having movement in our CNC machine, and this is probably the fourth item on the list, is that we've actually loaded up the correct profile for our machine. So right in front of us here we have the i2R A-Series 24 CNC router. And the profile that UCCNC should load in this case is the i2R A24 profile. Again, with UCCNC launched on our screen set, we should see at the bottom profile i2R A24 and whatever version iteration you have. If that red profile defaults, for example, it will not contain the correct settings to move the CNC machine. If you're still having issues with the CNC machine not moving, we've already checked the power, we've checked that the connection is established, we've ensured we're not running in a demonstration mode, we've ensured we've opened the correct UCCNC profile for the machine model that you have. Don't overlook that the actual connections are connected at the back of our CNC machine. If the connections aren't connected, the profile and the software will establish a connection, but nothing will move. And in the case of the i2R CNC, there's no feedback as such from the CNC machine to the control box if it's not connected. The fifth thing I would look at if your CNC machine is still not moving after checking all these previous things is we need to ensure that the actual profile you have didn't get corrupt in one way or another. And the best and easiest way to check this is if you use the UCCNC interface and you look for the configuration tab. I like to look at the axis setup and specifically the X-axis. And certainly the step pin and port and direction pin and port should have some sort of number in there. And in the case we have in front of us, we can see the step pin is 9, the port is 1, the direction pin is 10, and the port is 1. Now, don't worry if your numbers are different, because there has been a number of different versions of the controller. But if those numbers read 0, that would suggest to me that nothing has been defined, and that may be the reason the UCCNC is not moving your machine. If this is the case, what you can always do is refer back to the USB key that was provided with the CNC machine, and you can rerun step 3 on the USB key. This will reinstall the UCCNC profile and should update all those parameters so that you have the right configuration file. The last thing I can think of looking at if your CNC machine is not moving, and we've already looked through the other 5 steps in this video, is that we actually have the right type of motion enabled for the machine. So back on the main screen, if we're trying to use our keyboard and mouse and we're hitting the right and arrow key but nothing is actually happening, double check on the jog panel on the left hand side of the screen that either continuous or step motion is enabled. That way you should be seeing a continuous or step motion. Some users may have chosen to purchase the i2R jog pendant. And if you were using this in your previous section of UCCNC, it would have activated the MPG continuous, MPG single, or MPG multiple mode. And you may have put this away in the drawer in the previous session, but on reboot of UCCNC, it may not have switched back to the continuous or step motion, and it is that continuous or step motion that is required to use your keyboard and mouse to move the machine. So hopefully after watching this video, if your machine was not moving, some of the previous information will go through, steps you can look at, and hopefully this has corrected your issue. If not, you can reach out to support and we'll happily look into the issue further for you. Thank you for watching.